day, my name is everyone. Today our topic is about the introduction to mathematical economics. I will discuss the question and give my solution in this video presentation. Before start the presentation, I will introduce myself. My name is Tan Kok Yang, matric number 286813, from course of Introduction to Mathematical Economics, Group A. I am Bachelor of Science Economy with Honor Student in UUM. I am currently SEM 1 and my academic qualification to entry UUM is about STPN. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to share about the three things. And the first is a way of finding the complexities, and the second is the marginal cost and the interpolations, and the third is about the revenue, cost, and the profit function. Let's begin to the question and the solution now. For the first question, it was related about finding the complexity of a function. So the question is about determine where the function fx is conveyed outward and where is the conveyed downward. So we can see that the graph of conveyed outward is going up and the graph of conveyed downward is going down, or simply we can call it positive or negative. Here is some way to determine about the function is conveyed outward or conveyed downward. Firstly, we need to determine the value of x of each second derivative is 0 or non-defined, and the next is identify the open interval by the numbers. After that, determine and since the second derivative of x in each interval find in step 1, we can choose any number to test, but the number must be between the interval numbers. So we will get two different answers. If the second derivative is more than 0 or positive numbers, then the function can convey outwards. But if you get the second derivative is less than 0 or negative number, then the function is conveyed downwards. So let's start to solve our questions. We have 4 steps to solve this question. The first step is find the different rates using the power rule. By using the rules, we can get the first derivative of fx function is equal to the 3x squared negative 12x plus 18. Then to determine the function is conveyed outward or conveyed downward is using the second derivative functions. Using the rule again, then you will get the second derivative of the fx is equal to the 6x negative 12. After that, the second step to let the second derivative of x equal to 0, and we will find the interval. So we will get 6x negative 12 equal to 0, and we will get the x equal to 2. This shows the interval is negative infinity to 2 and 2 to positive infinity. Let's go to step 3 is to identify the function which is conveyed outward or conveyed downward by testing the number in the intervals. To make it easier to see, I will list down the interval columns, and the second will be the test number that the range of each intervals. For the first test number, I will use negative 1, and the second number I will use positive 3 to test the second derivative of fx. Following the third column, I will write down the test number in the second derivative function and calculate the question. For the test number negative 1, we will get the answer in negative 18, but when the test number is positive 3, then we will get the answer in the positive 6. The next column will be the sign either positive value or negative value. And the last column is complexity. It shows the answer is more than 0 or less than 0. If the answer is more than 0, means positive value, and the less than 0 and means negative value. In the step 4 is determine conveyed outward or conveyed downward. We compare to the step 3. If the second derivative is more than 0 or positive means the conveyed outward and the reverses. So let's summarize the result. If the second derivative is less than 0 in the interval negative infinity to 2, the answer x is negative means the function is conveyed downwards. But if the second derivative is greater than 0 in the interval 2 to positive infinity, the answer x is positive means the function is conveyed outward. Moving on to the second question, which is related to the marginal cost and how to interpret it. Let's look at the question that the cost function of manufacturer is given by the Cx and describe the behavior of the marginal cost function. For the question B1, we need to find the marginal cost function, and the question B2, we need to describe the behavior of the marginal cost function, whether conveyed outward or conveyed downward, and we need to prove it. To find the marginal cost function, we need to find the derivative of the cost function by using the power rules, as similar with the question 8. So after we get the first derivative functions, we will get the marginal cost function. It's because the first derivative of the function is equal to the marginal cost function. For the question B2, we need to identify about the conveyed outward or conveyed downward. So the first step is find the second derivative of the cost function. We can use the first derivative that we can get for the question B1 to calculate the second derivative. So after calculate, we can get the second derivative to the cost function. Next, we can use the second derivative function to equal to 0 to calculate about the value x. Where x is 1000, and we can get the interval is a negative infinity to 1000 and the 1000 to positive infinity. Step 2 to identify the function which is conveyed outward or conveyed downward by testing the number in the interval. To make it easier to see, I will list down the interval column, and the second I will be the test number that in the range of each interval. For the first test number, I will use 500, and the second I will use 2000 to test the second derivative of fx. Using the third column, I will write down the test number in the second derivative function and calculate the questions. For the test number 500, we will get the answer is negative 3 per 1000, but when the test number is 2000, we will get the answer is positive 3 per 500. The next column will be sign either positive value or negative value. And the last column will complexities. It shows the answer is more than 0 or less than 0. If the answer is more than 0 means positive value and less than 0 means negative value. In the step 3 is determine convert upward or convert downward. Recall back to the step 2. If the second derivative is more than 0 or positive, means convert upward and vice versa. So, let's summarize the result. If the second derivative is less than 0 in the interval negative infinity to 1000, the answer x is negative, means the function is convert downward. But if the second derivative is greater than 0, in the interval to 1000 to positive infinity, the answer x is positive, means the function is convert upward. Moving on to the third question, which is related to the revenue, cost and profit function. Let's look at the question that the company has estimated that the revenue function in Ringgit Malaysia is Rx and the cost function in Ringgit Malaysia is Cx. For the question C1, we need to find a level of production that will yield a maximum profit for the company, and the question B2, we need to find the price per unit to maximize the profit. The first step is find the production level that the maximum profit, we need to find the profit function. The profit function is using the total revenue function minus total cost function. The question was given the total revenue function and the total cost function. After calculate, we can get the maximum profit function. After find the profit function, we can now find the first derivative function by using the rule. This is what we will get for the equation of first derivative function of px. The step 3 to let the first derivative of the px equal to 0 to find the level of production, we will get the two level of the production, which is x equal to the 2 and trough. When we need to confirm which production can maximize the profit, we need to do the second derivative function. We can get the second derivative function is equal to the negative 6x plus 42. Furthermore, we need to use the second order condition SOC to know the production level, which are 2 and trough in the case is the maximum or minimum or inflation. We need to fill in the number 2 and trough in the SOC, and we got when the production was 2, we can get the answer is positive 30. When the production is trough, we can get the answer is negative 30. In the step 6, determine the maximum and minimum. Recall back to the step 5. If the second derivative in 2 will get the answer is more than 0 or positive, mean minimum, and the second derivative in trough will get the answer less than 0 or negative, mean maximum. When the x equal to trough, which is the maximum profit, and the level of production will get yields a maximum profit in the company is trough. Then, for the question C2, we insert the maximum production level, which is trough, into the profit function, and we will get the total price. The maximum profit is 1232. For the second step to find the price per unit that maximize the profit, we need to know when we use the revenue function, which is Rx divided by x, to know the profit function. Then we include the production level, which are calculated at the C1 to find the price maximum profit. After we include and calculate, we can get the price, the maximum profit, which is 776 per unit. That's all the solution of those questions. I hope you can understand and learn something from my video. Thanks for watching. See ya!